I've been going to this reference a lot, and it's probably because we watched it a few weeks ago with Eli because he'd never seen it before. But I keep going to Idiocracy in my mind, where you end up with a society of absolute idiots who all they know is that Brondo has electrolytes. All right.
Are you ready for topic 2?
Yeah, let's do this.
Yes.
Okay. Has convenience quietly replaced competence in modern society? And where, if anywhere, has that trade actually helped us?
Convenience versus, what'd you say, competence or confidence?
Has convenience quietly replaced competence
Okay.
in modern society? And where, if anywhere, has that trade actually helped us?
All right. What do you think, Michael?
Well, so, all right. Well, hell yes to convenience has replaced competence in many areas. Boy, oh boy, we only have 20 minutes. My God. Look, the Cliff's Notes version is customer service. Now, look, there's still some great customer service out there. There's still some great companies that do great things. This is called broadcasting. I'm going to paint with a broad brush. But, boy, oh boy, like, customer service is absolute garbage in many areas now because we have decided to go for convenience. We have decided to outsource. We've decided that there has to be clocks put on customer service reps, like how long they can spend with each individual customer, and it has to be exactly. And if you don't, that you're in danger of being fired. Oh, and by the way, we're only going to pay you 72 cents. So, it's this thing where we have tried to bean count and micromanage everything down to where it is the most optimally efficient for business. And maybe even it gives the customer more convenience on this end. But then when there's a problem, when something breaks down, well, you're just kind of SOL. And I mean, I think that's kind of the very, very, very abbreviated version of how things have dwindled in that sense. You go to hotels now. Ever since COVID, what do they tell you when you go to check in at a hotel? Well, just so you know, we're short staffed. So if you need like clean towels and stuff, you'll have to come down and get them. We only do house cleaning and housekeeping services after you check out. So basically your room is good today, but if you're here for 5 days, you're just going to have to clean it yourself. You're going to have to get your own towels, get your own stuff. You're pretty much on your own. Why? I mean, I think part of it, you can say short-staffed and everything I just mentioned, but I think there's a lot of it they kind of went, well, maybe we don't need all these extra people to work all this extra time, and we can save ourselves $50. And that's where I think we've really gone with this. So I don't know. That's just a very abbreviated look at how society has changed in that regard.
All right. So one thing real quick, because you were talking about the hotels, and it reminded me, I saw this the other day. More and more hotels are going to self-check-in now. They don't even have a...
And there's that too. I was going to mention that, but yeah.
But what you've just described for me, Mike, it isn't convenience at all. It is inconvenience bred by incompetence. So really, I think we're talking about the exact opposite of what was presented to us by Beth. Because there is nothing convenient about checking into a hotel, for example, and having to go grab your own towels and clean your own room and all of that kind of stuff that you used to, pay to have done. That was part of the experience. There's nothing convenient about having to order your food on a kiosk because they don't want a staff to take your order. There's nothing convenient about any of those such things. And in my mind, it is bred by incompetence. the incompetence of leadership, the incompetence of corporations, and that's coming from a guy who considers himself a capitalist. We don't practice it the right way anymore. So yeah, I think there's nothing convenient about what you talked about. Now, but if we want to flip it to that discussion, I think that our first discussion about Neuralink, which kind of went into a little bit of AI and stuff, I think that is an example of where convenience is breeding incompetence. We're trading convenience for competence because we can go run to Chat GPT now. And I think we
Yes.
talked about this the other day, and we can give it some complex word problem for math. And it used to be that even if you used a calculator, you still had to understand the methodology. Well, now
Yes.
you just give it to it and it'll do the work for you and spit it out, which is super convenient. But it doesn't help your competency. It doesn't help you build skills. So
It breeds a dumber society, I think, ultimately too. And you know, I know when we were kids, you know, they said the same thing about the calculator, and we talked about this the other day too. Like, you know, and there's something to be said that if you do all of your math on a calculator and you don't learn multiplication tables and you can't just kind of do a little basic math in your head, it's weird because watching people try to count out change at the grocery store if the cash register doesn't work, somebody that's under like 25, it is an exercise in futility.
Yes.
It is remarkable, the lack of basic math skills. So yes, we have definitely traded convenience for competence there. I guess my example at the start of this wasn't the greatest because it is fueled by incompetence, or it's fueled by bean counting and efficiency, which to me is just another fancy way of saying incompetence. It's saying I don't want to put the effort in, so I'm just going to cut and let people just do their own thing, and if they complain about it, what are they going to do about it? You know?
No, I think it was the perfect example that you gave to start with, Michael, because it kind of brought us in kind of the back way into the discussion, but I think it works because part of competence is being inconvenient, to having to put in the work. You know, to go to the exercise analogy, you don't build muscle unless you're actually putting in time in the gym. And the same thing goes with our brain. The same thing goes with our skill set out in the world, the things that we bring to the world, everything else. If you're not constantly exercising those quote unquote muscles, then you're not building any kind of competence whatsoever. And it frightens me that we're building a world more and more where the convenience of the tools that allow us to skip all of these things are becoming more and more powerful.
Yes.
Because it's gonna, I've been going to this reference a lot, and it's probably because we watched it a few weeks ago with Eli because he'd never seen it before, but I keep going to Idiocracy in my mind, where you end up with a society of absolute idiots who all they know is that Brondo has electrolytes, and they're so stupid that they throw it on the plants and kill off everything, so they're all starving. And that's incompetence bred by the convenience of not having to do anything.
Right.
I don't know. Humans have to put in the work.
Right. And I think there's certain areas where convenience is great. I mean, look, the microwave is fantastic. The Keurig machine is great. There's lots of inventions that we have that I think are fantastic in a lot of ways. They may have misapplications and people may use them for bad things or whatever. But telephones replacing telegram or teletype or telegraph, the internet as a whole has done a lot of great things for us. But at the same time, there's an argument to be made that having all the information at your fingertips, while wonderful, has not necessarily made for a smarter society it has made for a well actually society, because you'll say something and then someone will just go, all right. Well, actually, what this means, and they just run to the good, but they don't even know. And it's not really a learning experience. It's more of a well actually. And I think there was a time where we went to the library, we looked at books. Again, maybe this is curmudgeon talk, but I don't know. There's a certain trade-off. I think there's certain times where convenience is great, and I think it's better for society as a whole. But man, there gets to a point where people just rely on it too much. They rely on the conveniences too much, and it makes us ultimately weaker should something happen to that convenience.
Yeah. I think it depends on the convenience that we're talking about, because like you brought up the microwave or the Keurig. Okay. Those make sense because they make prepping some stuff a little easier, but you still have to put in the work to prep it, as opposed to the convenience of, let's say, DoorDash. Is that necessarily benefiting us? Probably not, because there are people out there, I've seen them, where they're like DoorDashing every day. First off, you're destroying your finances doing it, because it's way too expensive. I don't care
And
who
your
you are.
gut.
And you're destroying your health, but you're not building up the skills to even be able to marginally cook something, which, you've got to have those skills, because we talked, I think, earlier about the whole EMP, that got mentioned in the previous discussion.
Yes.
Well, what happens if we have the EMP and all of a sudden you can't DoorDash anymore? You got to be able to make yourself some food, or you're going to die. But it's the basics, the basic skill set of the simple things. Being able to take care of yourself is being stripped away from people. And how many people do we encounter? And we know people who they have no clue how to cook.
Well,
Not a clue.
during COVID, real quick, if everybody knows what HelloFresh is, it's a delivery service, but they actually give you the ingredients and you follow the instructions to prep the food. But I actually saw not one, but multiple different people during COVID streaming HelloFresh and struggling with it. And they give pictures too. So it's not just like words. There's actual pictures to follow. And people were even struggling with that and posting it on YouTube.
Well, that's at least a convenience, I suppose, that was trying to build a competence, at least.
Yeah, I can at least see that. And look,
But
the guy that's not, as a person that's not the greatest cook in the world, I can still make some stuff, like we buy like bratwurst from Costco, and making those, I make them just in the oven, and there's multiple ways to cook stuff. I don't necessarily, fry stuff. I'm not big into frying things for the most part, every once in a while, but it's still a basic skill that I have. I'm not great at it, but it's better than nothing. DoorDashing, I just think it's one of those things. You don't even walk. All you do is walk to the door and then sit back down on the couch and expand your ever widening can. Like, I don't think that's one of those things. I don't know if we're trading it for competence as much as we're trading it for health. And that's the other thing. This topic can be expanded out to, are we not only trading it for competence, are we trading convenience for our health? I've been looking at getting a bike, an e-bike, and I was test driving these things. And if you think that it's not exercise for an e-bike, it is, because there's a lot of balance involved. I haven't been on a bike in 35 years. And, to balance is, you don't forget how to ride, but you might not be the same. I don't look the same as I was when I was 13 or 14. I'm a good 160 pounds or so heavier and a few inches taller and a lot more awkward. And so it's one of those things I can't wait to, you know, kind of have a bike and ride around, because I'll build up some better balance and some better, you know, a little bit of core. And I don't know. I think that's one of those things that, you know, a little exercise won't kill you to go and walk down. If you're going to go and have Culver's, just walk to Culver's, or at the very least, walk to your car, drive, get up, go in. I don't know. Do something. Don't just take the 20 steps to your door. I don't know. I think this is one of those topics that could be really broadened and just to say, we've traded convenience for a lot of things.
Well, I think you can argue honestly, though, that the health end of things does affect your competence, because if you're not giving your brain good fuel, if you're not taking care of your body, you're not setting yourself up to build that intellectual muscle
It's
to be
very true.
competent in different fields. You're just not. You know, it's a garbage in, garbage out scenario, and it
Yeah.
definitely
Yep.
applies to the human body. You know,
Get out what you
and
put in.
I will tell you, as somebody who's like constantly working, that I've found that the better I eat, and for me, it tends to be a little more protein heavy, and there's different supplements and stuff I take. If I stray from that, if too often I go, you know what, I just feel like having soda today, and like load up on sugar, or I go the junk food route instead of having a good dinner, or I skip my supplements. Yeah, I feel just lethargic. I'm not firing on all cylinders, and that would affect your ability to not only have competence in the moment, but to continue to build your competence higher and higher with whatever it is that you're dealing with throughout the day.
Yeah, soda's terrible.
I love it, but it's terrible.
Thank you for the demonstration there, Michael. Actually,
in all fairness, it's Coke Zero, but yeah,
which is worse.
Yeah.
That's Coke with chemicals, my friend.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, it's convenient. Plus,
well,
by the way, if I drink city water, I mean, I'm drinking chemicals there too. I might as well just drink something I enjoy rather than, you know, drinking like lead that's disguised as water. You know, I mean, I don't mind, you know, it's cool that I drink enough city water and I'm no longer affected by kryptonite, but Jesus, I don't know. I'd much rather just have my Coke Zero.
I don't know. The thing I don't like about the water around here is that after you drink it, you've got to pick the pebbles out of your teeth.
Among other areas. Yes. Oh, yes. Awful. It's yeah. I don't know. Calcium and all that.
Every shower is a built-in like micro scrub though.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah. In case you were wondering, Arizona, to say Arizona water is a little bit hard. You know, it's kind of like a towel with a thread count of like 5. It's like cactus. It's like we have cactus coming out of the faucet. It is just, it is awful. But if you spend like $5,000 on one of those water softeners, then you're good.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this as a Christian man, but I think the Bible got it wrong. The cast of characters was not over in the Middle East. They were here in Arizona. When Jesus walked on water, it was real, but the stuff's just so hard. Everybody was doing it.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's something to be said for it. It's like, I didn't know you could have ice water at 90 degrees. Yeah, sure enough. It's something. No, I again, you talk, man, even bottled water is the convenience. And look what, and again, not to get all environmentally preachy, but how much plastic do we use to have bottled water, which when we were kids, the concept of bottled water outside of maybe prepping for a hurricane or a major winter storm was laughable. Like if you would have said in 1982, oh yeah, go out on a bike ride and bring my bottle of water with me. Like what? My Dasani, you know, they'd be like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
So
even in the 90s.
Yeah, even in the 90s. Yeah, for sure. it's we have, that's the other aspect of this too, is, you know, convenience has also probably made for a less, not only a less healthy human, but a less healthy planet.
Well, yeah. Which ocean has Plastic Island? Is it the Pacific?
Pacific, yeah. Garbage Island. It's just all
Yeah.
this micro plastic that's just out there, that's just collated and just coalesced into this blob of gross.
Well, and that blob of gross is inside every one of us now too. We are teeming
Yeah.
with microplastics
Yeah.
because of convenience. You know, let's put all our stuff in plastic. Let's make it real easy. You know, fully prepared for us. Just pop it in the microwave, which we agree we like, but maybe not for that. And yeah, so
Right.
I guess my my end thought on this one is convenience not always good. You need to build muscle memory. You need
Convenience
to-
good, some, not so much other. Like, yeah.
And there you go.
Yes.
All right. Hey, thanks for watching. In the Blind is a news show for Mike and me, and we'd really love it if you could hit the subscribe button, do a thumbs up, leave a comment. All of those things really help this channel get found by other people, so we'd really appreciate the support. Thanks so much.